Hey, how's everybody doing today? This is Boost Brigade, and I'm kind of a new YouTuber. And Slicey Dicey, I follow him a lot on YouTube, and he has an open tag video for a beauty pageant. And so I'm going to enter into my contestants and show you some of the knives that I think are beautiful. And just wanted to take a moment to thank everybody that's working right now. I know I live in a big city, and right now we're on quarantine. So there's still a lot of people going to work. My wife's a nurse and she has to go to work every day. And I'm still working too, but I really appreciate everybody that keeps everything moving along. So with that, I'll go ahead and get started with my contestants. And first, I'll start with my Benchmades. So one that I think is really beautiful is the Benchmade Valet. And it's G10 and it has M390 blade steel. But just the design, the way it kind of slopes right here and then it matches the scale and the way that they put the Chicago screws in there. It's just a really sleek, but I still think it's a beautiful design. It's not super fancy, but it's very, very clean and simple. So I think that this is a nice little entry into the pageant. So that's my Benchmade Valet. And then another Benchmade that I have that I really have a strong appeal to is the Benchmade 586 Barrage. So this is the mini Barrage that they discontinued, and I just think it's really beautiful how they have the G10 right here, and then they have the aluminum bolsters, and then just that blade shape. It's got that satin finish with the M390 blade steel, and I don't know, I just think it's really classy and beautiful. It's a Warren Osborne design. And you'll notice a trend here that I tend to carry knives that are around 3 inches because I live in a city. But I just think that the mini barrage is, especially the 586, the way it's all dolled up, I think it's beautiful. So that's the 586 right here. This is just the normal one. And I do have a fancier version that somehow I was able to acquire. They only made 200 of these, but this is the 586. This one was the forearm knife from 2017, and this one has a beautiful gray DLC on there with blue thumb studs. It's got the carbon fiber with G10 inlays and how it kind of just layers in the scallops right there. And then it's got this little blue uh, standoff in the back there. But I just think this is really beautiful, and they even went the extra mile and they right here they crowned the spine on it to give it just a little bit more appeal. So I think that this knife is really beautiful. And so that's my forearm knife from 2017. They made about 200 of these. Uh, so yeah, that's the 586. And then sticking with that Warren Osborne theme and the Benchmade theme, I really do love the Benchmade 940, and I have the 940 DLC version, and it's got this red carbon fiber infused carbon fiber. I don't know how they call it, but it's really beautiful. It's got that the red thumb studs right there, and it's got a black DLC blade, and it's just got these subdued gray standoffs right there. But I just think that this knife is very elegant. Just the whole profile of it, it's very, very beautiful. So this is my 940 DLC edition. This was the Smoky Mountain Knife Works knife. Um, So yeah, I think that this is a really beautiful knife, and then the pocket clips DLC coated also. So this is my Benchmade 940 DLC. Very beautiful knife, very slim, compact, gentlemanly. Okay, so that's my Benchmade 940. And then another beautiful knife that I got. I was on Instagram and I saw Ray Laconico post up one of the prototypes for the OG Jasmine. So this is actually a prototype of the OG Jasmine. And they did have a production run. They made like 80 of each style. They have the oval holes and then they have the ones with the regular speed holes. So this one was actually, it was hand finished by Ray Laconico, so it has that extra stone washing on there. And then that little blue pivot collar. And it's produced by Riot, so that satin grind on that blade is just really pretty. And then also it has a floating backspacer. So this is the Laconico OG Jasmine prototype. And I just think it's beautiful. The way the stonewash just on the scales kind of plays with the light and everything. And then you don't really see a whole lot of knives with ovals in there. And I can assure you I haven't chopped my thumb off or anything with that because it doesn't really get in the way because I'm right-handed. So, and then there's that. Just a really, really beautiful knife. Even the thumb studs have a really nice detail to them. So that's that contestant. And then speaking of gray and blue, another beautiful knife that's just all around everybody knows is beautiful is this is the Chris Reeve Small Sabenza. This is the 21. And I just think this is beautiful, the way the blue accents are. And then this is also the Prometheus Design Works edition. It's got the Tanto on there. And just overall a really beautiful knife. Because even if you're not a knife person, if you pull this out of your pocket, people are like, ooh, nice. So, but this is really beautiful, and I love the way that Chris Reeve, they do the Tanto like that. It just has like this form of elegance to it. Because usually Tantos are real tactical or whatever, but this kind of has like an elegant shape to it. Still has a little bit of belly on the blade. Just everything about it is simple but beautiful. So that's the Chris Reeve Sabenza. And then moving on, also to do with Prometheus Design Works, this is my PDW Badger. This was made or designed by Patrick Ma and sold by Prometheus Design Works. And it's just a small little knife right here. But it just has like this timeless shape to it, the little spear point. And the titanium, the way it almost looks like an integral right here. It just looks really beautiful. And then the pocket clip. And then also on the show side, you don't see any hardware or anything like that. It's just this one screw right here. And the thumb studs, they have like a little glow in the dark insert. It's kind of gimmicky, but it adds a little bit of detail to it. And then the real showstopper on this knife is that I sent it out to Josh at Razor's Edge. So it has a 220 satin hollow grind on it. And then it's flat at the tip for piercing, or for tip strength really. But just the thinness behind the edge and just the beauty of the blade after the regrind, I think it's one of my most beautiful knives. Even though it's simple and monochromatic, I just love the style, I love the feel. So that's that contestant, and that's going to round up my Prometheus Design Works knives. Then I'm going to move on to something that's probably not beautiful to a lot of people, but I find it beautiful, and this is the Jake Hoback MKU or MK Ultra. And I think it's beautiful, not because it's black DLC, because it's not really beautiful, but just the design of it. It has that Quaken style to it. And Jake Hoback's one of the only ones that does the upswept Tanto. So I just think that the design of the knife is beautiful. You know, the DLC doesn't really strike it as beautiful, but I just find myself staring at this knife just because of the design of the knife. I just really kind of have a sweet spot for the Quaken style knives. And it's small and it's built very well. and I think it's beautiful in its own right because I don't see a lot of people doing upswept tantos anymore. I think Jake might be the only one that does them, but this is the MK Ultra by Jake Hoback, and it's a great little knife. So there that is. And keeping with that Quaken theme, one of my favorite makers is Sharp by Design Brian Nadeau. And this is the Micro Typhoon. This is the original one that he collaborated with Riot for. And I just think this is just beautiful. Not only in the materials, but the design. Kind of has that Quaken-esque design where the blade is fully hidden by the scales. And then just the pocket clip, how it goes right into the scale there. And even the blade shape is just, the whole knife is beautiful to me. So I think this is a real strong contestant for any beauty pageant. It's just very elegant. And then also it has the little Brian Nadeau right there, and that's the only mark you have on the knife. And I actually wore this knife in my wedding, so it has a lot of sentimental value to me. But just like the satin finishing on the blade and everything, it's just finished very well, and I don't think anyone can look at this knife and say it's not beautiful. So I really am fond of this knife right here. He did release some of the newer Evo Micro Typhoon, so I got in on that. But I mean, I can just stare at this knife all day. It's beautiful. Then moving along, keeping with that Sharp by Design, I did get the new Void. It's actually the same one as Slicey Dicey, so I guess we have similar taste. And it is beautiful as well. It's just got the marbled carbon fiber in there. Slicey Dicey went over it really well. I'm not as articulate, but just look at this knife. It's, when you pull it out, it's just elegant and beautiful, and it's different. And just the overall design, Brian knows how to make some beautiful knives. So this is the Sharp by Design Void, and it's made by Riot also, same as the Micro Typhoon. And just the lines of it, you know, the shape, the way that even though it's not like a Quaken or anything, the blade doesn't go past the handle. It doesn't protrude above the handle. It just goes flat across. But then when you pop it out, it's a huge blade. It looks like the blade is bigger than the handle. So that's the Sharp by Design Void. And then moving on to my final knives. These are kind of like some of my favorite two knives. The first one, they're actually the same knife, the same model. This is the Koenig Mini Goblin. And for whatever reason, I just think this knife is absolutely beautiful. And this one has the mirror DLC blade. So at certain points in the light, you can kind of see like the blade shimmers. I don't know if it's coming across on camera, but when you move it in the light, especially like outside in the sunlight, it just kind of shimmers, and you can see like the reflection off the hollow grind with the DLC coating. And just the overall design of the knife, the way it's shaped and everything, and the quality too. These knives are just absolutely wonderful. And it's in that 3-inch range, so I don't get in trouble when I carry it. And then just the back spacer. This one's one of the original ones, so it has the full back spacer. And it just kind of protrudes out of the back scale as it goes along. And even the pocket clip is just like so many angles to the pocket clip. It's just beautiful. You got the little machine lines and the lock bar relief. And that is just beautiful. I think this might be the most beautiful knife in my collection, if it wasn't for the same exact knife in just a different configuration. So this is the original version, so it has a normal backspacer, and then it has this hardware right here. And then when I got a little bit more money, I was able to find an updated edition, and then this is the bronze version. And this one is just a lot more dressy, a lot more beautiful in that respect. So this one's bronze, and it has the new pivot hardware right there. And then on the newest editions, just to add a little bit of touch, the back spacer is semi-floating all the way back. And just beautiful. It's got the satin flats right there. So it has satin flats and then like a stone washed primary or hollow grind right there. And it is just beautiful. And the way the bronze goes with the bronze, it's like heat treated on the pivot and then anodized. It's just a really beautiful knife. And they're very well made too. So I think this one might be my strongest contestant. Just the overall design of the knife and the looks of it. So that's going to be my beauty contestants that I'm adding to the open tag. And I thank Brian for making this open tag and giving me a reason to make a video. So if you like the video, like and subscribe to Slicey Dicey if you're not already. You probably are. So anyway, this was really fun and I appreciate everything. And you guys have a good day and stay safe. Thank you.